Hello, this is AnlineOffline. Welcome back to another casual's quick guide to Call of Duty Mobile. For today's video, we'll be covering the M13. Introduced in Mobile's second anniversary, the M13 is a fully automatic, short-barreled rifle from Modern Warfare 2019, which would return in its sequel. It's based on the MCX developed by an American subsidiary of SIG Sauer. Resembling an Armalite rifle, the MCX uses the same short-stroke gas piston as SIG's earlier MPX SMG. The quick change barrel makes it relatively easy to switch between supersonic cartridges and the subsonic 300 Blackout, although the later Gen 2 Virtus and Rattler variants are not available in 7.62 NATO or Soviet. Unfortunately, it was used in what is now America's second deadliest mass shooting by an individual who had pledged their allegiance to the Islamic State. But, for the sake of YouTube, let's not dwell on this. Given its modularity and sound suppression, it's well suited for counterterrorism. Both US SOCOM and the Marine Corps have expressed interest in a lightweight medium machine gun, chambered for .338 normal magnum, and is supposed to be an intermediate between the M240 and Madu's Browning heavy machine gun. A later Gen 3 Spear and LMG variant, chambered for .277 Fury, was declared the winner of the NGSW program. But switching to a full-powered, non-NATO STANAG round with less ammo capacity seems regressive, as it's the opposite of what the AR-15 stood for. Well, with the rise of body armor, battle rifles are relevant again, and the .277 is able to achieve a similar bullet velocity as 5.56 in spite of its short barrel, due to its extreme pressure. The Vortex XM157 fire control system provides an optic with a computer-assisted laser finder that calculates distance, and the digital reticle adjusts in real time for environmental conditions, essentially making anyone a marksman. All of this is intended to be part of a 10-year deal, and the first batch of XM7s and 250s are expected to arrive in late 2023. The former was originally designated as the XM5, but Colt already trademarked the term. But back to the Virtus. Base damage per shot is low, killing in 5 shots up close, dropping to 6 at mid-range and 7 from afar. To offset this, the M13 has the fastest fire rate within the AR class, at 882 rounds per minute. Thus, this gives you a slow time to kill in close range, average at long range, and solid at mid, with an effective base range of 35 meters. Its bullet velocity is solid at 900 meters per second, and adds an extra frame to your time to kill with every 15 meters or so. Headshots deal 50% extra damage, and just one is enough to reduce your number of shots to kill in its first and final range, but not at mid. As for mobility, the ADS and sprint out times are average for an assault rifle. Its sprinting and walking speeds are below average, but its strafing speed is above average. Base ammo capacity is standard for an AR, at 30 rounds per mag, but can be extended to 50 and 60. The M13 also has 300 Blackout, which increases range and offers sound suppression. And unlike some weapons, you do reload cancel slightly faster with spare rounds than with an empty mag. In terms of bloom, the M13 is slightly better than average. Not including the bugged Odin, it's tied with the AMAX and AS Val for the widest hipfire spread among ARs, but it does have a very forgiving firing. The iron sights are fine for most engagements, and the recoil is very easy to control, even when kitted for negative handling. When the M13 was released 1.5 years ago, it was a heavier weapon. Back then its base bullet speed was 600 meters per second, and 300 Blackout used to increase it. It was supposed to have a chest multiplier like in its test server, but that was scrapped over concerns of potentially being broken. Aside from its high capacity and high accuracy, it was deemed as a mediocre weapon. But in the following season, it was noticeably buffed in order to generate more interest in the mythic blueprint. Its bullet speed now matches what it is today, and sound suppression replaced the ballistics of 300 Blackout. It now reloaded faster and received more mobility. It essentially replaced the Holger and Bison as the easy-to-use, high-capacity, mid-range weapon of choice. It couldn't outgun the MX9 before its nerf, but it did rival the Type 25 after its buff. For the following seasons, He was a top tier weapon on par with the Kilo 141 and CBR4. There was a time when it and other ARs countered SMG strafing speeds with the disabled perk, but that's no longer applicable. It did receive a nerf in Season 4 of 2022 with a reduced first range and more penalties to its magazines. But that's not the reason why its popularity has fallen off, but more so because a lot of its fellow ARs have received buffs over the past year. Nowadays, it's still a solid high tier weapon, very easy to use, and forgiving to miss with, but lacks the lethality in close range without headshots. Does it need any changes? Not really. Maybe a semi-auto 277 ammo conversion if Modern Warfare 22 gets around to it? Maybe, maybe not. But hey, that's just my opinion. This has been a Casual's Quick Guide. Feel free to suggest what weapons you want to see covered next. My name is On, and I'm off.